Hey, Bob, and welcome to the premiere episode of Patch with Patch. Hi, guys, and welcome to the channel if you're new. This is me starting a little bit of a fun series for Marvel Rivals where I go through the patch notes that drop, and I thought I'd make it a little bit fun, dress up as the Wolverine variant Patch. I've been told I kind of look, well, not like Wolverine, but I have a similar hairline receding. No, I'm kidding. As Wolverine, and I have, sort of a suit, and I thought the eye patch would be funny, especially because I've actually had it, eye surgery recently, so it's even more, it's an in-joke. But anyway, we're going to get into reading the patch. It's a pretty small patch, this first one, but I think it's nice to start the series off and see what you guys think. So I am going to switch over now to here. Okay. And let's start reading these now. So I'm also not going to do the Wolverine voice for the totality, but enjoy the look. Greetings, rivals. We're here to give you the scoop on version 2024-12-10's update. We noticed that some spots at the edge of the map could cause characters to become stuck. We have a look at the entire map and done our best to fix this bug. However, future adjustments may still be needed to fully resolve the issue. So we ask for your understanding while we continue to look into it and working on ways to prevent this from happening again. Without further ado, here are the details. I didn't actually know this was happening specifically, not to sound like Cynthia Erivo, but there you go. Yeah, so that's really cool, though, that they're looking at the maps already and kind of really taking into account how it's affecting players. So on all platforms, general, when playing highlights and recordings, crosshair deviation will be significant, and there was a possibility for lag. This issue has been resolved. That's good. Changing where highlights were saved would cause the game to crash. This issue has been resolved. That's really good, especially for content creators like myself, because I actually want to make a few of my highlights into shorts, and that makes that a lot easier. It makes sure that we don't have anything crashing. Players joining a quick match as a replacement may not be able to see heroes equipped costumes. This issue has been resolved. Generally small in the grand scheme, but important nonetheless. People buy skins to be able to see them. They want to see them. Mission progress on the season event screen would not display correctly. This issue has been resolved. That's really good. Obviously, you want to see how well you're doing with your missions. Fix some textual errors. More fixes will be coming in a future update. I did see one of these, actually. So I haven't seen many bugs with the game, but I did see one between Steve Rogers and Scarlet Witch where there was a grammatical error, but it's like nothing, right? After a crash, the game had a chance to freeze for a long period of time before closing. This issue has been resolved, and now the game will close after crashing. Well, that makes sense. That would be what we would hope it would do upon crashing. And common crash issues, which, not much to say on them. Maps and game modes. On certain maps, particularly Hydra Charteris Base, Hell's Heaven, and Clintar Symbiotic Surface, special collisions on the edges would cause the player character to become stuck or clip through and enter strange areas. These issues have been largely resolved, but as this affects multiple maps and areas, this bug may be present elsewhere. We'll move to work. We'll continue to work. Oh my gosh, this patch is horrendous. What deluded me to do this? We will work to continue fixing such issues and develop a solution to thoroughly prevent them. In the foggy areas of Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, Hall of Dajalia, and Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda burn into T'Challa, fog would disappear for Hela and Storm's perspectives where they activate the ultimates. This issue has been resolved. I mean, that's like an unfair advantage type thing, right? So I kind of understand why they've changed that, and I think that's an important thing to change. You've got to make sure that it's fair for everyone. If Storm and Hela can use, especially Hela, right? Storms, you have to get up to close to people anyway, but Hela has a really long-range ult, so if you're using that and you can see through the fog, it's not really fair. After Jeff the Landshark was revived while in the fog, his teammates and enemies would not be able to see the special effects of Joyful Splash. This issue has been resolved. Is that his ult? I assume it is, potentially. Okay. In Hydra Charteris Base, Hell's Heaven, Frozen Airfield. In competitive, if a player was cured while moving near a target area, it would cause the lighting to behave abnormally. This issue has been resolved. Good. Especially for competitive, you've got to make sure the competitive is right. Also, by the way, this is difficult. So if I'm making a lot of mistakes, deal with it. As Wolverine would say, deal with it, Bob. Because, I'm doing this for your entertainment, okay? During matches, disconnecting and reconnecting would cause desynchronization of some doors, i.e. a door looked to be closed, but the player would walk through. A door looked to be open, but the player couldn't walk through. This issue has been resolved. Hydra Charter's Base, Hell's Heaven, Eldritch Monument. When the target area is ascending or descending, if Adam Warlock uses his ultimate, his teammate would potentially revive and be stuck beneath the terrain if they were right on the target area. This issue has been resolved. Obviously, you don't want to be revived and then basically waste the revive, right? When the target area is ascending or descending, if Thor or Loki were revived by Hela's team ability, they will potentially revive and be stuck beneath the terrain if they were right. So I said the same thing. When the target areas, so basically all of these are talking about the fact that Charter's Base moves, which is probably one of the coolest things in the game, and essentially the making sure that it doesn't get messy with that. I mean, these are probably all very niche scenarios in general, but important to do nonetheless. When switching between rounds in competitive, if the destination was not the last stage of a map, it would cause the vehicle's effective range to not display when it approached the destination, impacting determination of the effective occupation range. This issue has been resolved. Interesting. I didn't know that was happening again. Upon reaching the third round in competitive convoy or convergence, heroes had a chance to carry over the ultimate energy from the second round. This issue has been resolved, and heroes will no longer inherit their ultimate energy. That makes sense. It makes completely sense to start fresh with that, because third round is kind of like a refresh. It's like a restart, right? It's basically like a new match to go again. So understandable. Okay, heroes. When Wolverine had his Deadpool and Wolverine costume equipped, not his patch costume equipped, like me, no ability voice lines other than the Undying Animal abilities line will play. This issue has been resolved. After Star-Lord's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's MVP animation played, sound effects would not be played in the result screen. This issue has been resolved. So a lot of this is kind of superficial, really. When Iron Fist used pings, the corresponding voice lines would not be triggered. The issue is being resolved. The description for ADS sensitivity in Black Widow's settings was incorrect. Resolved. Certain situations, Black Widow's ultimate would not recover energy as intended. The issue has been resolved. That's one's important. Obviously, you want to make sure that you've got your ult charging. It's one of your primary pieces of your kit, especially for certain characters. In certain extreme situations, Captain America's ultimate wouldn't end as intended. This issue has been resolved. Oh, okay. That hadn't happened to me. I played a lot of Cap, but there you go. Now this is something that was discovered by a streamer called, I think it's Boga. I don't know them specifically. Sorry, bestie, if you're watching. But essentially you could gain ultimate by way of Doctor Strange by basically killing all your team first. By sending them through a portal to their death. So they're basically taking that out so that, like, you can't. So it's not that you can't do it. Still, you can, yes, technically send people off the map, because you can't stop that, right? People have their own free will. If you open a portal and it's right next to the end of a map, people will do that, right? And they don't want to take it out from an enemy perspective. But they're taking out the incentivization to kill your team to get your ult, right? So that's pretty important. PC using FSR3 frame generation technology to modify the illusion could cause memory leaks, resulting in blurry models. This issue has been resolved. Obviously good if you're using this. I don't even know what this is, so shut up. Console, after equipping the PlayStation Bundle's Scarlet Spider costume, restarting the game will cause the costume to not display as correctly equipped. This issue has been resolved. That's because you guys get a skin we don't. Nah. I'm playing on PC, if you didn't know. We'll be keeping an eye on the frequency of different bugs and fixing them as fast as we can. We also have another patch in the works, this time with new content. Be sure to follow our socials for the latest news. So, new content coming soon. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what heroes are coming next. I'm kind of going to stay away from leaks specifically. I want to talk about patch notes in this series. So, that's what we're going to focus on predominantly when we're doing patch with patch. But I think this is a really good sign that they've already put a patch out and it's not even been a week yet. That's really good. I think there's some balance changes that still need to happen, and I think seeing new content come will also be good, but I think it's good that they've held off on doing... Oh, and there we go. It snapped. I'll hold it. I'll hold it. I'm not going to do that. I think it's really good to see that they're kind of being proactive, but I think it's very good that they haven't knee-jerked and done any kind of changes to characters yet. I do think there's some stuff that needs to be done. I definitely do think that, but not yet. I think it's okay for now. So we'll see soon how that goes. In the meantime, I'm Patch, and I've already lost my patch. See you next time. Bye, guys.